Hello there and welcome back to Let's Just Chat. My name is Celestina and I will be your host for this week's episode. As always, today we'll be talking about taxes, why you should file your taxes, where to file it, and what to do with your money. But before that, let's start with our introduction of Being a Clue. Now on my channel, I created something called Being a Clue. Being a Clue is an acronym and I'll tell you what it stands for in a minute. But before that, just know that on my channel, I'll be talking a lot about personal finance. I'll be talking about life, adulting, how I manage and get through this whole life adulting thing, how I manage my finances, and some of the tools that have helped me to be where I am and to stay on track when it comes to the blessings that God has given me. All right, so let's get started. Being a Clue is an acronym that stands for Come and Sit, which is the C. So you're here, so you're doing that already. Thank you very much. The second is L, which is Listen with Intent. U stands for Understand and Acknowledge, while the E stands for Engage or Execute with Empathy. This is a lifestyle. You do this when you're off camera, on camera, with me, without me, and with other people that you're always around. It is not just something that you listen to and just kind of walk away, but I encourage you to start practicing it and see how it changes the way people relate to you and they relate to yourself as well. Without wasting too much time, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up, share it so other people can also get this knowledge. If you have any topics you want me to make a video on, feel free to leave it in the comment section and I will definitely give it a shot. So let's get started. Taxes. I love tax. No, I don't. I don't know a single person who likes their money to be taken away, reduced in any form whatsoever. But in the United States and everywhere, you do pay taxes. Right now, we're going to talk about why you should file your taxes, why you should file it on time, where to file it, and what to do with it. At least what I will be doing with mine. Why should you file your taxes? I will give you 2 reasons why you should file your taxes. Number 1, you avoid any penalties and interest rates that could be sanctioned on you by the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. When you go on their website, they will clearly tell you why you should file your taxes, why you should file it properly, and why you should file it on time. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be on the IRS's radar. IRS stands for Internal Revenue Service. Now you may think, well, it's just little old me, I'm just a small fish, they're never going to see, they're not going. Sir, ma'am, do not think that because it's just little old you, the IRS doesn't have their eyes on you. Don't cause any trouble to your financial success and journey by doing the things you know you're not supposed to be doing. Number 2, not filing on time or late or not filing properly can affect your credit score. And when your credit score is affected, they can refuse you certain services. And you can be at the bottom rank when it comes to accessing certain public funds and getting certain aids, grants, whatsoever in your financial journey. You don't want that. You never know what life is going to throw at you, and you may suddenly want to get a new car, a new house, or invest in something, and here you are trying to get a loan for it or any assistance for it, and the IRS is like, block, you can't do it. So just be a good citizen of your community and of your country and do what is needed of you and do it on time, but most importantly, do it properly and correctly. It's that simple. Now, let's talk about why you should file your taxes on time. Number 1, when you file your taxes on time, there is an understanding that you get an average of larger tax refund. Yes, think of the IRS refund as a big pot of money. When you file on time, you get the maximum amount of money you're owed versus you wait 2, 3, 4, 5 months even. Some people do wait even a whole year to file your taxes the previous year. When you go to get that full refund, well, the money has already been reduced because everyone else has come and done it earlier than you have. So if you're owed, let's say $5,000, well, there's not enough to go around. So you may not get the full $5,000 that you're owed as a tax refund. The second thing is you get your money faster. If you've planned to use your tax refund for certain things, maybe to add to your financial goals, to buy whatever you need to buy, or to pay down debt, why wait weeks or months to file your taxes and then wait another weeks or a month or more to get your tax return? It makes no sense. Go ahead, file early, file on time, so that your financial goals can move along smoothly. It is also nice for your mental health too. It just tells your money that you are not stressing. Remember what I said in the last video? Money has ears. Whatever you tell it, it will do. If you tell it you are stressed out, it will stress out. And what does stressed out things do? They don't function as well. They just don't. Number 3, you avoid processing delays and any penalty or late fees. There is a fee you pay for filing late. Now you may say, well, I've done it for the last 10 years and I've never paid any late fees. You may have been lucky, but you're not going to be lucky all the time. It is going to affect you down the road. So to avoid getting any processing delays, to avoid getting any late fees, file your taxes early and file it on time. The last one is to avoid any identity theft. That is right. When you don't file early and on time, you are exposing yourself to other people who have your information for whatever reason to file on your behalf and then collect your refund. It's happened so many times where people have reported that they went to file their taxes and IRS said, you already filed your taxes, don't try and double dip. And they said, I never did. Well, the reason is someone, it could be hackers, it could be scammers, or anyone else. It could be a family member, let's be real, who went ahead, filed your taxes on your behalf and collected the money. So to avoid all of this, file early, file on time, and save yourself all these headaches. Sounds good? Okay. What do you need to file your taxes? There are a few documents you need to file your taxes, and the last one particularly is something that I caution you to have. Let's start with the first one. You need all files and forms that document your source of income. So for most of you, or for most of us, it will be a W-2 from your 9 to 5. If you're self-employed, then you have another form. So just come to your accountant or wherever you file your taxes with all documents and forms that tell the IRS what you earned, how much you made, so you can get started. The second thing you need is your personal information. This is your social security number, this is your address, this is your date of birth, and any other thing that identifies you and confirms that you are who you are and you live here and this is what you're doing. Okay, so you need those information. You don't necessarily need your card, but you need the numbers. So make sure that you have all this with you when you're about to file for your taxes. The third thing you need is any list of deductions. I'll give you a few examples here. The IRS will reimburse you if, for example, you paid out of pocket for any medical expenses. They will do that. The second thing is donations. If you gave to a church, if you paid your tithe, if you gave to a charity, if you gave your clothes to Goodwill or anything of that sort, you can add that as a deduction and you can get compensated for doing that charitable work. The fourth thing, which is super dear to my heart, which I believe that we need to grow into and graduate towards, is going to file your tax returns with your bank information. What do I mean by that? When you're done filing, if you file on your own towards the end or your accountant files for you, they'll say, well, how do you want to receive your tax refund? Most people, or some people, are still asking for a check. Y'all, there are so many things that could happen to your money when they mail it out for you. You don't know when it's coming. When the check comes, someone can take that check because trust me, it's happened so many times. They can cash it on your behalf and you don't get the money. They can mistakenly drop your check somewhere else. The mailman can make a mistake and say, oh snap. So there's so many chances where you cannot get your check because something happened to it. To avoid all of this, just go with your bank information and go with the bank information that you need or would like the IRS to deposit your money into. So you need your bank account number and your routing number. If you are someone who uses a checkbook, I still use a checkbook. There are many people who don't even know how to write a check. I think it's a skill to really learn. But anyway, if you have a checkbook, you can take one page of the checkbook, write the word void on it, VOID, very bold, and give it to the accountant and say, please use this bank information to put in the system as how I want to receive my tax refund. The reason why I say that is sometimes even if you write it down, you can miss a number, you can make a mistake. So to save yourself all this trouble, you can just go with a checkbook or copy and paste it, and you know for sure you didn't miss anything, you didn't make a mistake. That, I think, is one of the most important things I can share with you today, which is to just ask for direct deposit and not a check. And if you don't have a bank account, there's so many banks that make it super easy for you to open a bank account. Check down below for all the banks that I personally use and vouch for. This is not a paid promotion or anything of that sort. I have tested it over the course of the years, and I do have a lot of trust in them. Where to file your taxes. I'm going to give a shout out to my accountant. I found her years ago. I introduced her to my sister. My sister uses her all the time. Now, if you don't need to use an accountant or you don't feel like using an accountant, I'll also share other places that you can use to file your taxes. The first one I'm going to share is Tax and Beyond. It is a company that helps you file your taxes amongst other things, all right? The accountant I use is Janetti Merchant. She is at the Chicago location. I love her to bits. She is a veteran in filing taxes. She's been doing it over 2 decades, and she just is a beast. Trust me, she knows her stuff. So she can find ways to get you what you need while staying within the law. How many times have people tried to bully you or the IRS tried to scare you when you don't know what actually the law says? Well, not Janetti. Janetti will go to battle for you and make sure that you are being given what you're owed in the right way, and she'll also protect you. There's so many times where she said, actually, let's not go this route because this might cause X, Y, and Z in the future, and you don't want that problem. So I love her, I love using her, and I'll always use her, and I don't mind paying what she charges for her to do my taxes and do it right and on time. The second place I'll recommend is TurboTax. Even with TurboTax, you can file with an agent. So when you use TurboTax, it is online. You can decide to file it yourself or request an agent to do it on your behalf. Either way, I think it's a great tool and a great platform, and it's very easy to use. The third platform I recommend is H&R Block. Janetti used to work for H&R Block, and she graduated from H&R Block. When I tell you I hunted her down, I hunted her down. She will tell the story. I looked for her everywhere, and I couldn't find her, and eventually I found her. So H&R Block is also a great platform to use, a software to use to file your taxes. You can go in the store or in the offices, or you can do it online. Either is very much okay. The third one is not using any of these institutions and doing it yourself. There are independent accountants who can do this for you. You just have to make sure someone vouches for them and make sure that they are doing it and doing the right way. So if you're going to Roro, just make sure that Roro knows what Roro is doing, and you don't have any penalizations or any sorts of penalties down the road. I'm not discounting anyone who does it independently. I'm just discounting if they don't do it right, and then later down the street, you have too many problems. Okay? That's what I'm saying. The cost of filing your taxes. When you file as an individual, it ranges between $70 and $200. I think most people are paying above $150 these days, but I just put $70 just in case. However, if you have businesses, you will pay a little bit more because you are filing for your businesses and you're filing for you as an individual. So if you have a 9-to-5, you will file for your 9-to-5 because they give you a different W-2. And then if you have other side businesses, you have to do a separate one for them. If you're self-employed and your businesses are your 9-to-5, then of course you're filing for that as well. So just keep in mind that it does take a few couple of dollars to file your taxes, but it's worth it because you're doing it right. Someone is doing it for you, or even if you're doing it yourself, you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you're just keeping clear of the IRS's way. I think it's a good route to go. Now, let's go into what I will be doing with my tax returns. I started planning for my tax returns in November of last year because I knew that I didn't want to waste any time. I wanted to file early and file on time, and I knew I was going to file with Janetti, who is my accountant. I called Janetti, I think in December, and I said, Janetti, let's put a date on the calendar for February and let's get this ball rolling. She told me the things I needed per usual, what I needed to do to get ready for our meeting, and I've done it already. And then I sat with myself and said, okay, let me try and estimate how much I'm going to get for my tax returns. What I did is I went on Google and I typed in tax refund estimator or tax refund calculator. I put the information they needed in, like my salary, how much I contributed to any sort of 401k or anything of that retirement account, what I deducted. I just gave them all that information and they gave me an estimate of what they think I'm going to get for my tax refund. I did this for 2 or 3 different platforms just so I can have an average and to make sure that one platform is not giving an outrageous number than the other. This is what I did. When I went on the website, I got my estimated amount of refund I should expect to get, and I minused it by 20% just to give myself a buffer so I'm not disappointed and heartbroken. I don't like to be heartbroken. So that's what I did. Then I took my savings goals and I said, okay, if I'm getting about 400, or for you, it could be 1,000, 4,000 back, how can I split this into my savings goals buckets and help myself or give myself a bump towards reaching my savings goals earlier and faster? So I decided to divide mine into 4 different savings goals. So the first one, I'll have about 50 or 60%, I think probably 50% go towards my home down payment. Then I will have about 30% go towards my my travel fund. I'll have about 20% go towards my emergency fund, and the 10% I will spend on myself, because you will definitely spend your tax returns on yourself. So just go ahead and give yourself a number. Let's not be coy here, all right? So that is definitely what I will be doing with mine. If this video was very helpful to you, give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to my channel, comment below. It will be very helpful.